Flickerine. That's a cool name. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're doing well. Mercury direct. Have you felt a shift? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, just a sec. I'm gonna click on a few things here. Okay. Hi. Hi, Pamela. So I hope you guys are doing well as we close out August. What a month. What a month. And we're going to talk about, I really want to talk about this super cosmic Venus energy that we have going on through the end of August and touch on a few things that you can also look at in your chart. Hi, Peg. Hi. Lori, you made it to Florida. Welcome back. Welcome. So Lori has been to was it 4 or 5 retreats, Lori? Lori and I have been to 5 countries together. Where are we going next? Where are we going next, Lori? Okay, here you guys all are. Wow, you're all coming in. Hi. Hi. I have to tell you, I've had the most peaceful morning. It's been incredible. And it reminded me of one of my very first angelic visitations. And I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever had an angelic visitation, especially that you remember? Because, oh my goodness, I remember it was back in 2003, 2004. I lived in this cabin on a lake outside of Seattle. I'm from the Seattle area, that's where I grew up. And I had this personal cabin. It was so pristine, so peaceful, like in the woods. And it was this crazy little haven because it was in this big suburban area. But I lived in this cabin. I had my own big deck. I had a dock. It was amazing. And I can still remember the angelic visitation I had one night where I can still see the outline of the angelic light, the form, the energy. And I remember I think it was like a Thursday or Friday night, because all that weekend, I had never felt so peaceful, so calm. It was amazing. It was really incredible. And so that's kind of the energy I've been feeling lately. And I was just curious if any of you have had angelic visitations that you recall. Because something about their frequency, at least for me, I don't know if this is true for you, it really leaves an imprint. And when I can dial in to that frequency again, it's amazing. It's sort of like it's like a tattoo. It's like a permanent energetic tattoo. So that's what I've been feeling for a while, but especially this morning, loved it, loved it. So I just wanted to share that with you because I feel that these angelic visitations, they bring in new downloads and new frequencies, and they can just be so good for anything in your physical self, mental self, spiritual self, whatever, that is a reminder of what you're connected to, the bigger energies, the bigger everything. So Moira, Sam, hi everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making time on your Thursday. So Mercury direct as of yesterday, August 28th, and Mercury now moves slowly, right? Moves very slowly, is at 21 degrees of Leo, trining that Chiron retrograde at 22 Aries. So this is actually going to be, I feel that this energy is bringing you insights that maybe opened up for you during the Aries solar eclipse back in April that was conjunct Chiron. You could be getting some more information, messages, insights with this Mercury, again, going slow. And when Mercury goes slow like this, when Mercury is beginning to gain new momentum to move forward, we can be more tuned in to what we need to really understand, what we are ready to, really sit with, messages we're receiving, and even the information, narrative, or story that we're meant to see in a new light, in a new way. So I love that this Mercury is trining Chiron, because again, I feel like it could relate to anything that was activated for you with the Aries solar eclipse back in April. And that maybe there's something here that is landing, that you've been required to sit with it, and now you're understanding it in a new way. Whatever house Mercury is in right now at 21 Leo, that's the house, the environment of life, the area of life where Mercury has been reprogramming you, rewriting, reorganizing, all the rewords. But hopefully you have a new plan, a new insight, a new way to move forward. Because I think that's one of the gifts, really, of every Mercury retrograde, is that when we slow down consciously and intentionally, we can become more aware of all of our mental energy. So, 10th house for Joel. Hi, Belinda. It's good to see you, Belinda. Hi, Tina. Yeah, you guys, some of you feel that. Yeah, hi, Christine. Awesome. So I really want to talk about this Venus, okay? And part of what you want to understand is that the conjunctions and aspects that I'm going to be talking about with Venus, the Sun and Mercury are both going to be experiencing them in a month as well. And so there's a big theme here that starts the end of August and goes into October, where we have our final Libra eclipse. It's a Libra solar eclipse at 10 degrees in your chart. So what you want to identify in your chart is between 0 and I'm going to say 11 degrees, 0 to 11 degrees of Libra is where there is a lot of cosmic energy right now. And if you have planets or points there, it's working with you more personally, okay? So know that whatever this Venus in Libra is opening up for you, it comes in again late September. And it's really wild. I mean, I have all of the aspects written down here, and each aspect is its own energy, of course, but you take them all together, and we are deeply reprogramming and clearing out these outdated Libra energies. Now, I was thinking about the first decan of Libra, 0 to 9 degrees especially. And this is where we first learn how to interact with people. What is socially acceptable? How to have conversations, how to introduce yourself is part of these first energies of Libra. You know, how you engage with people, what you discuss. This can, of course, be small talk. This is the getting to know people energy. And as I was preparing for this live, I was getting all these images, and they show up for me sometimes like a slideshow. And with Venus being style, color, friendliness, you know, how you present yourself, what you wear, how you feel good about yourself. I was getting all these downloads or visuals of different decades of style, and how style, cultural definitions of style shift every decade. Because I was getting these visuals of poodle skirts. And then it was moving, so that would be in the 50s, right? And then it was the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. By the way, all these 90s fashions coming back, I can't. Some of these 90s, no 90s. Now I understand like how my mom felt, right? When your parents had these fashions coming back around. Okay, let's not do the 90s again. Then the 2000s, 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s. And so if you look at it through cultural values, if you look at it as this was what was considered, you know, chic and stylish, it's all it all evolves, and then you watch how it circles back around and it repeats things, because it's like the styles are repeating what I wore in high school. No, thank you. But what I'm feeling with this first decan of Libra is that we're looking at what has culturally programmed us around how we present ourselves, how we show up, how we, engage with others, have conversations, all of that. But how much it's deeply shifting as our consciousness rises, and what our new societal expectations are of each other, what we consider, appropriate ways to reach out and connect. I mean, you can even just link it to like DMs, right? That practically anyone on the internet maybe is available for you to reach out to. You can look at it as, what kinds of topics and kinds of conversations are acceptable and which ones are not. And I feel that what this Venus is doing during this transit is bringing our awareness to what we look for in other people that is a value match, that is an energy match. And I feel that the energy it's shifting. I kept seeing it turn over, like an hourglass where the sands of time run through and then you flip it over and it starts again. I'm seeing that we're flipping some things over, and that now we are engaging with each other and connecting based on energies first and less on what we would expect each other to talk about. Okay, let me say that another way. We can feel an energetic resonance more prominently now. Whereas back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you would have had different ways of looking at, do I have anything in common with this person? Do I want to talk to this person? Is this somebody I want to hang out with? Because again, these first degrees of Libra are about getting to know others. It's the initial exchanges of sharing energy. And that's changing as our consciousness rises, as our energy rises, as we do more healing, as we feel more comfortable in our skin, in our energetic beingness, that changes. And then we can approach others in a very, how do you describe it? It's less about what you see and more about what you are feeling, where you could be connecting with people that you're like, I never would have met them, I never would have talked to them, I never would have known them, but the energy felt right. And I think that's what we are really reprogramming here and becoming more conscious of with these energies. Late August into October, we're creating new connections based on energetic frequencies, and then we're also allowing people that we don't have a resonance with to no longer be a priority or to fall away. It's not a match. It doesn't connect. And because this Venus energy is so strong with a lot of conjunctions and trines, it's a necessary next step. It's where we're moving forward collectively in how we get to know one another and what we want to know about one another. And it's also, I feel it as a heart opening too. I feel like, and this is in general, but it could be like you feel like, well, I'm curious about people in a new way. I want to get to know more of what they think. I'm not just going to judge, what t-shirt they're wearing or what I'm thinking they are, what I'm assuming about them. So we are changing our relational dynamics. We're shifting in some really big ways that helps us connect energetically beyond just the superficial, the facade, or again, any of our assumptions. Now that Libra energy can be very much about how people look, how they appear, what clothing brands they wear, what cars they drive. That's definitely part of our societal programming, but it's becoming less important in the higher frequencies. Like in the 3D, sure, the car you drive is going to impress people perhaps. But in the higher frequencies, you're like, okay, cool. That's their vehicle. But who are they? Like, who are they at an energy level, at a heart level? Who are they at the core of their being? We're asking more intelligent questions because we're more open to the energy we're feeling and sensing around one another. Does this make sense? It resonates? Okay. Yeah, because it's like we got to evolve our human connections, right? Like we want better quality, or we want to know more of our tribe. We want, real friendships and real partners and better colleagues and more people that we have a natural resonance with. And in order for that to occur, we are ready to look at each other with new eyes as well as new discernment. I mean, that's the other side of the coin, right? It's like, well, yeah, you can have some curiosities and want to get to know somebody, but you still have to be discerning, and you still have to, trust the facts or trust your gut. So over this today and into the first week of September, Venus in Libra is going to be very busy. Okay, so right now, Venus is trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 0 degrees and trining Sedna in Gemini at 0 degrees. And this creates an air grand trine. So Pluto in Aquarius, trining Venus, trining Sedna, all three air signs are represented. And Venus is a personal planet, and she's receiving these influential energies from both Pluto and Sedna about deeper soul stories, deeper relational experiences, deeper connections to what you've been through at a soul level. And I feel that this Venus is more aware of her bigger experiences with people across multiple lifetimes, and you could be getting some kind of memory recall about really good connections you've had. This is also Venus wanting to transform, wanting to elevate, wanting to feel this quite powerfully. Stephanie has a good point, is that if you're part of the generation that has Pluto in Libra in the first decan, then this is even more transformative for you. There's also the generation that has Uranus in Libra in the early degrees. And then some of you could have Neptune in Libra in the early degrees. And so you would be feeling this at a very deep level of your being. I mean, these are the energies of transforming your life and wanting more, wanting new, wanting better. Because Libra is also really aware of quality. Quality, good things, a sense of how you present yourself in a certain energy is important. So generations of people are feeling this particular grand trine right now. Now, the trine to Sedna in Gemini is really interesting because Sedna is a story of, it has many layers, and I've done podcasts on it, but it's basically where we have sacrificed our sovereignty and been betrayed, and that betrayal was a gift that allowed Sedna to dive deeper into her truer power that she could only find in the depths of the ocean. And Sedna in Gemini is deeply working with the power of language, communications, the other side of a story. Sedna in Gemini is powerfully activating what we tell ourselves, what we perceive. I feel like there's some, it's a very slow energy, but it's like rewriting soul experiences and understanding how they benefited you, what you learned. Sort of like, okay, even it started off on one theme, where did it lead you to? I'm just feeling this is very deep memory recall, because it could be like, even as I'm talking about this right now, you're like, I don't know, Molly, that doesn't relate. I'm not feeling it. I don't get it. But then you could have a dream or a message or something come through that you feel a deep resonance to. And I'm even getting the visual right now of a movie scene. Like, have you ever watched a movie scene and you're like, that feels so real to me? My soul has had that experience. I've lived that energy. This is what I'm saying. It's like there's something that you could connect to unexpectedly, that all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I've lived through that. And this is where it led me. This is what, it was a catalyst that helped me grow in this way. And I feel that that is a strong theme here with the grand trine in air signs. Is that we're gathering new information about what we were learning, what we had to go through, what we had to experience. Because to the soul, there is no good or bad. It's just a lesson. It's just an experience of the energies. It's just something to move through. The soul has a neutral point. The soul has a sense of it's all just energy that you're playing in, that you're experiencing, that you're moving through. And I think that's what's opening up here as Venus interacts with both Pluto retrograde in Aquarius and Sedna in Gemini. Now, after that exact air grand trine, Venus in Libra makes a conjunction to the super galactic center at 2 degrees of Libra. And this is, the super galactic center is all of these galaxies, just a mess of galaxies. Like, it's just this crazy cosmic energy, too much to fathom. And it's described as being this huge vortex, like this never-ending vacuum of energy. And it reveals some fascinating themes in Libra. It reveals codependency. It reveals if you have a pattern of, I always have to be in a relationship. It reveals where there's compulsive needs, where there's a part of you that believes you need another person around you all the time. It can show you where you're afraid to be independent or sovereign. It can show you where you don't feel whole and complete. The supergalactic center can reveal obsessions, addictions, parts of yourself. I mean, think of it as a vacuum. It just continually wants more. And so Venus moves across this 2 degrees of Libra, and there could be a sense of, holy crap. Like, like there's something that I've been out of balance with in myself, and I'm ready to change it. And the need for change is there because of that trine from Pluto in Aquarius and Sedna in Gemini. And you can see where you're out of balance. It's interesting, like, because I just got this visual of, like, you could realize, wow, I've had multiple lifetimes as a feminine. I've had multiple lifetimes as a masculine. And maybe there's been an extreme of those experiences and those lessons. So the supergalactic center is intense. Then, because we're not done. Venus in Libra is then conjunct the South Node and conjunct Black Moon Lilith at the same time at 7 degrees of Libra. So this goes into the first week in September. This is why this first decan of Libra is really amped up, because each of these aspects by itself is its own thing, but now you've got times 5. So Venus conjunct the South Node is where you have to take objective responsibility for the parts of yourself that were seeking validation, love, acceptance, connection in ways that weren't healthy for you, that maybe you learned from early programming. And I'm saying early programming because it's happening in that first decan of Libra. So it's happening and it's asking you to look at, what did I have to do to feel I was desired, loved, attractive? What parts of me thought I had to be a certain way? What parts of my relationships am I outgrowing? Because now I want different types of connections. And with Venus, it certainly highlights the feminine and females. So this could be friendships, sisters, co-workers. The Libra energy is one-on-one connections. This could also, of course, be your romantic connection. So with a spouse, a lover, a partner, whatever the case may be, you might be realizing what you are transitioning out of and moving towards that's a truer, equal, balanced connection, which that's really what Venus craves. And so are you able to receive that? And then part of this conjunction to Black Moon Lilith is our shadow self, is where we've been harmed, where you've been through maybe some traumatic connections or lesser. I'm getting the visual of like you present it one way to people, but behind the scenes it's something totally different. That Black Moon Lilith can bring up, the rage, the intensity, the anger. It can bring up how that has played out in your connections. And it's being very honest with yourself about how you've shown up or what you've participated in, and how you're able to be more discerning, but also more mature. So even though it's in Libra, which often is a focal point on the other, of course, we know that energetically it all starts with us. It all starts with who we are and how we show up and how balanced we are, as well as how in tune you are to your own needs. You could be realizing what you have self-abandoned for a connection, or what you gave up because the other person wasn't into it. So this is kind of more of a minor example. It's more of an everyday example. But let's say you have an activity, a passion, something that you love to do. You love to go to the gym. You love to play soccer. You love to, whatever you love to do. And the other person, the partner, isn't into it. And then you give it up and you're like, okay, I won't do that anymore because you don't like it too. That's self-abandonment. And you're doing it because the other person doesn't want to, even though you still like it and you still love it. This Venus conjunct the South Node is going to bring that up, where you're like, I abandoned myself for the sake of the relationship. I gave up my needs because I wanted to make the other person happy. I held back what I needed because I wanted to make the other person happy. If you have a lot of Libra in your chart, this is more personal for you, especially again, I'm calling it the first 11 degrees of Libra. But the South Node has been working with you to bring to your awareness these patterns and these habits so that you can step into more of what you do want to continue to embrace in yourself. Because the North Node is in Aries, which is a return to self, a return to who you are, and to not compromise. So you could realize where you've overly compromised. And all of this is reprogramming us with the intention of having better connections, healthier relationships, more equal exchanges. And so during this time period, again, into early October, you could see what's really out of balance. Like, do you have people in your life that like you always reach out to them, but they don't reciprocate? You know, how does that feel after a while? Is that something you want to keep engaging in? You could realize, you know, the parts of yourself that others don't see. But here's the thing, there's responsibility with that, because if they don't see it, are you sharing it? Are you letting them know that's who you are or that's what you like? So there's always a two-way street with Libra. And this is an opportunity to check in on how you are presenting yourself and sharing who you are in a way that honors you. And then, of course, allowing the other to do the same. Now, this energy is strong now, right? We're doing this August 29th. And then it will be strong again when we move into Libra season, which begins September 22nd. And then the end of September, then we have Mercury enter Libra, I think it's September 26th. And then we have the Libra solar eclipse on October 2nd at 10 degrees. So everything I'm talking about here are themes for the next few months that are designed to help us be more conscious and to make conscious choices. To make conscious choices. But it's these connections to Pluto and Sedna that are quite big. Because I feel too like it's churning up new thoughts and perceptions of ourselves in relationships. So it's kind of like you could realize some things about your relationship history, your friendships, anyone and everyone, like how you do partnerships, that you're ready to change. And the universe is like, yes, right on time. Let's do it. Let's move it forward. Let's evolve. Let's transform this. Let's go higher. This is very positive energy, even if it feels like it takes you down a little bit, like you have to go into the gutter, to be honest, but then you rise back up and you say, yeah, but this is what I want going forward. And of course, this applies to current connections. Like, again, if you're married, if you have really good partnerships in business, if you have some really strong friendships, this can support all of those connections if you're intentional with it. Hey, Claude. Hi, Stephanie. So I just want you to know this is big energy in the Libra areas of your chart. And I also feel like transformation is required. That doesn't mean you have to do it. You got your free will. You don't have to do anything. But because of the trines and the conjunctions, there's a lot of support, and it's also putting you into alignment with what's coming next? What's coming next? I feel that that's important. It's kind of like, don't miss the first bus. Yeah, you can catch a second bus or fourth bus or the 10th bus. But if you catch the first bus, it's a little easier because then you're in that trajectory. So, I'm just watching your chat. Libra moon. Libra moon's feeling it more personally, internally. Yes. Hi, Christopher. Hi, Jillian. So I hope that helps you understand the bigger picture of why this is a super cosmic Venus. And I hope it helps you understand, my lights just went out, why the universe is saying, like, it's on time. It's right on time. So, okay, my lights went out, so show's over. But I enjoy catching up with you guys through these live events, so thanks for joining me. I'm going on 2 adventures over the next week, so I won't be doing a live next week, but I'll try to do one later in September. Okay, so, and I'll post those here on YouTube as well, so that you can join me if you're around. So yeah, I gotta go prepare for my 2 adventures. Always doing my adventures. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see you. Good to see you. I'll be back in September. We'll do another live if you can make it. And in the meantime, I hope you start September in a beautiful way. Okay, have a great day. Bye, Tiffany. Bye, Nubia. Bye. Bye, guys.